It went off. What happened?
Welcome. We want to welcome you to the JOCO as we continue our conversations with artists about the role of art in the world we want, a more just world than the world we live in now, and the one that is under creation. We're the JOCO Collective, a community education project, and we always begin our programs by acknowledging that we do this work in what's called the Los Angeles Basin, which are the unceded lands of the Tongva people. And so what you see here are settlements of what was Tovangar long before this became part of New Spain, Mexico, and then the United States. So we always want to honor the Tongva people who still live and thrive in the Southern California area. Today's program, right, as we continue our discussions with artists, I personally thought this would be, you can go to the next slide. I thought this would be a great opportunity to talk with veterans of the Performing Arts Society of Los Angeles. I am currently writing a dissertation about the Performing Arts Society of Los Angeles, which I knew nothing about. And that surprised me, growing up in Los Angeles and being somewhat attuned to the arts as a writer. When I had the opportunity to meet Gita Hadi, Nathaniel Taylor, he started telling me about the Performing Arts Society of Los Angeles, and it just crystallized for me that this is what my dissertation should be about, and especially since I didn't know about the Performing Arts Society of Los Angeles. And when I would ask people if they had heard of PASLA, so many people I knew were saying, no, what is that?
Mm.
So I thought it was important to tell the story, right, and bring the Performing Arts Society of Los Angeles back to the consciousness of the community that it set out to serve and the world at large. So a little bit about what we're doing. We have spent the last couple of years, maybe even almost 3 years, trying to take a deep dive and look at, what does it take to create a more just world, the world we want to live in. We had been having some series of conversations at looking at the world as it is. And, we always end up looking at the world as it is. But we thought, well, what about the world we want, right? The world that people are struggling for. And then what would that look like? And we, in a sense, we stumbled into how we decided to do it, right? We started out actually with education and had a couple of programs on, well, what needs to make education more relevant and liberatory, emancipatory. And then after a couple of those conversations with local educators, we thought, well, we could use Neely Fuller's 9 areas of people activity and, just have this conversation about each of these areas. So we decided not to do them alphabetically and just, after conversations about what we should do next. We have come to our 9th, or in fact, we're in the midst of our 9th area of people activity, entertainment, which we have broken down into looking at media largely, journalistic media, and now the arts, and we're trying to have as broad a range of the arts as we can. So we've already spoken with Frank Dawson, a filmmaker, and then just yesterday we had a conversation with the sculptor, veteran of the Black Arts Movement, Charles Dixon, and a up and coming, although in some ways he has arrived, young generation sculptor, Gozie Ogini. And you can see that interview on our YouTube channel. Just go to the live category and look for the November 18th conversation. So we continue the conversation today with veteran PASLA players who were directly involved in community theater, and not art for art's sake, but art for transformation of society.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to read what we have on the screen. You're seeing images of a PASLA document from the period, and some text taken from some. In fact, I think from this very document, and then also from the conclusion to a grant proposal that PASLA had written up, I think in the 1970s or late 60s, the grant proposal might have been. And a lot of these documents are found in Modojiko's papers. Modojiko, the founder of PASLA, Van Tile Whitfield, that I had the opportunity to go through this summer, and just incredible stuff I found, including a letter written by you to Van Tile Mpingo, and I think a couple of memos that you had written, Charlene.
Oh, I'd love to see that.
Yeah, I have photos. I'll share them with you. You wrote it in red ink, your letter, Mpingo, from Spain.
Oh, wow.
So anyway, so let me read the frame so we can, so I can turn it over to you. The creative instinct. So again, let me just repeat. This comes directly from PASLA's literature
Okay.
from the 1960s. I think that this particular document was from like 1968, I think. The creative instinct in man compels us to act to remove the obstacles of fear, frustration, and impotence from our existence. It is through this creative urge that man can be reconstructed from opposing, self-defeating fragments into an integrated whole. Through the performing arts, the members of PASLA tend to use these creative instincts to redirect the energies of youths and economically depressed people into constructive channels and to devise unique methods of developing new economic sources to alleviate the ills of chronic unemployment. PASLA is composed of artists, social workers, and persons in allied creative fields who believe that the artist has not only the means, but the moral responsibility to provide creative ideas to solve social problems. Our motto, social growth through the performing arts, is designed to provide an atmosphere of harmonious living for the total community. Our youth and community programs will assist each person who participates in them to discover his own creative instincts, ultimately opening the door to a more enriched and rewarding life. One can feel and see the commitment and energy. Let me stop right there. What I just read comes from an introduction to this document you see on the screen.
Okay.
What I'm about to read is the conclusion to the grant proposal.
Okay.
One can feel and see the commitment and energy that provide the backbone of PASLA. The motto, social growth through the performing arts, becomes the live nourishment upon which all members thrive. Hand in hand, teachers and students learn by seeing and doing, constantly keeping abreast of a fast growing and ever changing, that is, society. That lays out PASLA's mission, I think, about as clearly as anything could. We can go to the next slide, Tasha. Yes, I am going to read the bios. So our guest today. And I learned that when everyone came into PASLA, Modujiko, Van Tile Whitfield gave everyone an African name, Swahili. And so I wanted to use those names. So we have with us Changa John Weathers. John Weathers studied total theater at the Performing Arts Society of Los Angeles under the direction of Van Tile Lee Whitfield, aka Modujiko. Later, he studied at the Hal DeWitt Drama Workshop. John also worked for Mr. Nick Stewart at the Ebony Showcase Theater. John performed in many plays at PASLA and Inner City Cultural Center, and he studied and worked on many film projects at UCLA. With pleasure, John returned to the stage to read Ron Daniels' play, Swing Low, Sweet Steamboat. And I want to make sure, is that something that's going to come up again, the reading of the Steamboat? Awesome. So yes, we'll be returning. That's awesome.
Ron wrote. I know. No, he said, is that something that's going to take
yeah, you're going to be reading again soon?
It's a possibility. We're not sure. We're not sure.
Okay, great. Great. Also with us, Imsha Charlene Williams, affectionately known as Imsha within the theater community, who studied, worked, and was a player at the Performing Arts Society of Los Angeles for more than 11 years, under the founder-director Van Tile Modujiko Whitfield. Imsha participated in numerous plays, held the title of assistant to the director, and worked on several independent films at UCLA. The culture of theater in the Black community serves and can empower and impact the community at large. Amen to that. And then we also have with us Pingo Griffin, After moving from Denver in 1968, in Pingo, Maryland, Griffin worked as the assistant to Vantil E. Whitfield, director of the Performing Arts Society of Los Angeles, and producer for the daily community news and views television show From the Inside Out, a PASLA production. She was also a member of the PASLA Players, performing in several stage productions. It was at PASLA where she was given the stage name Pingo, a Swahili word named for the Black wood found in East Africa. She became a teacher of transcendental meditation and taught in the Leimert Park area. Back in the Los Angeles area, she continues to assist others in their spiritual growth. And we are just so happy and pleased to have you all here. And before we go forward, I'd just like to hear briefly from each of you how you came into PASLA. So we can go in the order of the introduction. So John, if you could just, quickly, how did you come to PASLA?
I came through PASLA by watching The Inside Out. I saw two people, Jackie Gover and Ella Lane, who I knew. I had worked with Ella Lane down in the Garment District early in the years, and Jackie Gover I knew from church. And so when I was living up in Richmond, California at the time, so when I moved back to LA, first thing I thought about was going to PASLA.
Mm-hmm.
And when I went to PASLA, I got to PASLA one Tuesday, I think, after I got off work. I met a guy that was up on the ladder doing something on the marquee. Name was Kajini, Jesse Hicks. I asked him about PASLA, and he said, "Come on in, brother. Sure. See what we're doing." So I walked in with him, and I heard this man talking very loud and very strong and very powerful to people. It was Vantil Whitfield, Motojico, and I got frightened right away. I said, "Now I don't even know if I can be a part of this, So Kajini said, "You coming back? I want to introduce you to some of the actors here." And I met Gita Hadi was one of the first persons that I met, Dahabu and Mpingo, Van, the assistant to Monajico, Charlene M. Shah, where I met her. What happened after that? I started coming to PASLA, like all of me, and I was caught, I was hooked. And I saw the energy there was so powerful. It was a community. And we were helping and building, doing things for one another, that if you were down, someone was bring you back up, to focus on where you really should go. And so I enjoyed that. And I also enjoyed learning the techniques of acting, not only acting, but learning stage, learning set design, learning lighting, sounds. And all this came from Motojico and Gita Hadi. And I fell in love with it, and I became dedicated to it, and Vantil Whitfield saw that, and he found out that I was one of those Aries like Gita Hadi, so he said, "Well, I got somebody I could do something else with too." So I started learning the lights and the set design and stuff, and he finally gave me a script and gave me a character to play, and I ran off with the character, He said, "Johnny, what are you doing?" Playing character. He says, "But what is the character saying? What's the character doing?" I didn't hear nothing. He said, another thing he used to say, "You got to project," and that's when Miss Imshaw would holler, "Project!" And I said, "Wait a minute now, y'all getting to it, let me hear me, And so I finally slowed down. And when I was reading the script, I started looking at the lines really and feeling the life in it. Because when I was reading before, we had no life. We were just reading lines. But he says, he used to tell me, the person is breathing that you read, you're bringing something to life. And when I finally cut it, I could feel the energy on the stage with the rest of the actors. You know, we were helping each other. You know, and it was the veterans. I mean, it was everything was there. There was a good one, Levon Wilder, when you just supported me. Come on, Woo. She used to call me Woo. She said, come on, do your lines, do them, you know. And I finally started learning, you know, I learned and learned, you know, and I just kept on, you know, and it became a love of mine.
Yeah.
And not only that, but it also gave me a focus on things that I wanted to do. If I couldn't, you know, be an actor, or set designer, or work lights, you know, I had a focus where I could go to other places. And as a result, I went into telecommunications because going out and trying to get in the industry was something that I didn't care for. I didn't like the stereotypical things they were doing with us. And I said, I can't play them kind of characters. So I stepped back from it.
Okay.
And I said, to tell the story on us, I can't do it like that, you know, because I've been told the truth about things and I believe in this truth, you know, and I believe in us. So my thing was empowering us and not making money for the sake of it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do.
So I will allow that to not only Motojiko and Jihadi, but the rest of the family at PASLA. It was a family, and we supported one another, and I've always been there.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you remember what role that was, that first role? What play?
The first role was, come on in, Bingo, Charlene.
The first role? Oh, Easter Jordan?
No, it wasn't Easter Jordan.
Black? No.
Pillars.
Oh, Pillars.
Killers.
Pillars by, I forget the writer's name, but I played.
Yeah, it was called Pillars. Yeah.
Yeah, Pillars.
Pillars. Okay.
It came from it was a three pieces, right? That we did.
I don't remember that far, Johnny.
Either.
3 one-act plays.
Different plays, wasn't there?
Yeah.
Pillars. There was.
Okay.
Oh, I know what he's saying. The theater evening consisted of 3
one-act play.
Three plays.
Yeah, 3
So
one-act
Pillars
plays.
was one of them.
And Pillars was one. Okay.
Pillars was mine. I played the leader of slaves running away from the escaping the plantation.
Okay.
Okay.
And so that was the first piece that he gave me. And I worked with him. I
Pillars.
think
Okay, I'm going to look that up, right, to find out who that playwright is.
Yeah.
It may have been Owen Dotson.
Oh,
Okay.
Huh.
Okay.
Check that out. I think it's
I'll check that out. Yes. And I've come across in my reading that PASLA working with Owen Dotson material. And,
okay.
And a particular, I think there was and actually I think it was at the Inner City Cultural Center, but PASLA performed honoring Black playwrights, and one of them was Owen Dotson.
Owen Dotson. I believe that was him.
All right. Thank you. So, Imsha, so you were already there when John showed up. So how did you?
Was I?
I was Johnny Come Lately.
Okay, so I must have already with me. Okay. So it's just a couple of things that's noteworthy, Yusef. Although my name sounds Swahili or Nigerian, it is not. It is of no language. Van was very creative, and he took my name Charlene, and he derived, that's how he came up with Imsha. So there's different enunciations, Imsha, M-C-H-A-A, or like the Habu, he calls me Umsha, U-M-C-H-A-A. So I thought that was so creative, the way Van did that. That's how I ended up accepting it. I don't know how you got my last name, which is my maiden name, because I submitted Weathers to you.
Oh, did you? Because it's in
But that's okay. I mean,
I
I
think
do a
from the
lot in
email or
Williams,
something
but-
like that. Yeah.
right.
Well, during PASLA, she was Williams, yeah.
And yeah,
I
and
was,
and
that's
I got,
true.
yes, I
That's
do have,
true. So,
your name is on a lot of things, right? Actually,
for
all
sure.
of you.
Yeah, our son was even born into PASLA. But anyway,
Mhm.
I can't remember what year I came to PASLA, but I think that they were just kind of winding down doing Inside Out.
Mhm.
And I met, the way I came to PASLA was by a very dear friend who was actually like a brother to me. He was known in the Los Angeles community because he was a radio personality. And I'm a jazz buff, and he was a radio personality for a jazz station.
Mhm.
And I had a tragedy happen in my life. And at the time, he and his wife kind of nurtured that whole trauma experience with me. And he said, I know what you need. I want you to come with me to this theater. I'm talking about Jay Rich. I don't know if you've
Mhm.
heard that name before.
I
Yeah.
recognize that name, yes.
Yeah, Jay was on KGLH for many years. But he started out at KBCA, which years ago on FM 105. That was the jazz station in Los Angeles. And then the format somewhat changed to KGLH. And before he died, the last radio station he worked at was KJazz 88.1. That's a station I basically listened to. So anyway, Jay brought me to PASLA, and what Van had the unique ability of doing, I mean, he really was brilliant. And so now that I look back on retrospect, I know how he tried to approach this from a holistic standpoint, if you will.
Mhm.
And because people in the community would come, and that's how their self-esteem and self-worth increased. That's how they were exposed to language that they weren't necessarily exposed to. That's how they learned to love to read.
Mhm.
That's how they were exposed to African American literature and authors that perhaps if you were not in the progressive lane,
Mhm.
you wouldn't necessarily be exposed to it. And as Johnny indicated, yeah, we were a family, but out of that family evolved a very solid ensemble.
Mhm.
So when Van would say, what about this character? He was talking about the sociology and the psychology of different characters and what that meant. And there was a time, at least 2 or 3 years in a row, during the middle of the week, we did different performances specifically for a friend and colleague of his, Mary Jane Hewitt, who at the time was a professor out at UCLA. And I think Mary Jane was teaching sociology. Anyway, she had her class come, and we would perform, and we would have dialogue, a discussion around that play. So that was very, very provocative and just really, really wonderful. So that's yeah, it didn't take long. Van asked me, what happened is we had workshops on Saturdays.
Mhm.
And he needed somebody to take notes. And so he asked me to take notes. And Johnny's right. When you first meet this brother, he can be so intimidating till it ain't even funny. Okay.
Mhm.
And I said, dang, who is this brother? You know, because the intonation and reflections in his voice, I mean, like you say, Van, you say, what? You know, like that, but he doesn't mean it like that. You just have to know him. You know, Van Tal is one of the founders for the DC Black Repertory Company in Washington, D.C., you know, and so he brought a lot of that to Los Angeles, you know, and I'm truly thankful because people like Robert Hooks and Ivan Dixon. We met these people. Ivan Dixon lived in Altadena, and I lived in Altadena for more than 30 some odd years. I know exactly where Ivan and his family lived. And so he exposed our limited knowledge base and helped create and expand our capacity. And Johnny's right. It was a passion. It became a passion for us. And I realized on many levels of what the spoken word and the stage could do. That's why I prefer stage almost more than film. Because it's more in the here and now for me, if that makes any sense.
Yes, it does. The immediacy of it.
So, I thought about in the information. I don't know why it took us so long to send you the little stuff that we sent you on the bio. I'm glad you edited, but I remember the last sentence that I did say that, in terms of what theater can do, and in your introduction to Performing Arts Society, it's not art for art's sake.
Right.
Yeah, it's not art for art's sake, and it could really impact and empower. So we're talking about a community at large in terms of what it can do, particularly for the youth of today, because they're just not exposed. I realize we're living in a different time. Things are different, but they could learn so much. They could learn so much.
Absolutely.
Yeah, by experiencing the power of the spoken word. That's why poetry is so powerful in our community. Music is so powerful in our community. So I ended up learning how to do a lot of things in PASLA, and I'm very truthful. Very grateful to that. And Van's birthday is September the 8th, and mine is September the 9th.
Okay.
Van and I were very close. Very close, and his son Lance, I was a baby when we were there, and I think Lance is in his 50s now, right, Impingo?
Think so.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I remember when Lance's his first son was born. And we met a lot of people through Van Tile. Van Tile directed the very first Bill Cosby special. And he had Crosby, Neal, and Nash. I think it was a white group. Yeah. And I remember because I was a student out of Cal State LA. I was in college. And he said, Shaw, I have an opportunity to direct this Bill Cosby special. Would you like to be my assistant? I said, I ain't got time for no stuff like that. I gotta help them Black students on campus.
Right.
And I frequently think about that, because what an idiot on my part, And Van brought Roberta Flack into our lives.
That's right.
And she really influenced Impingo and I. She really did. We met Donny Hathaway through Roberta. It was just a wonderful, wonderful experience. It really, really was. And I'm just so pleased to know that that we came that way.
Yeah. I love the story of your name. So it's a new African name. That's
exactly.
Just
I've had several Africans tell me that it sounds African.
Yeah, that's all. That's all. Like the names we make up because they sound African.
Exactly.
That's what we do.
That's what we do. Exactly. I was talking to Tasha earlier about one of my former professors who he has a YouTube channel, so I watch his lectures, Oba Tashaka, and he talks about the character of African American, or one of the fundamental traits of African American culture is that it's improvisational, right? We're the jazz
absolutely
and I also know that PASLA did improvisational
That's
stage
right.
We did.
But
I mean, the whole
we'll come back to
blackening
that, though.
piece, the whole blackening
With-
was strictly improvisation.
Oh,
Really was.
We
Okay.
came up, we wanted to do something chronologically, so we started back in
Mhm.
Africa and went all the way up to the current day, and we wrote our own script. I don't think we
Wow.
put anything down on paper. It just worked as we went.
That's
Wow.
great.
Because I was going to ask if there was a script
Oh,
for that. It was
No,
all
it's
wow.
not.
What a piece. What a
Yeah.
piece.
Yeah. And when and it opened up, we were on
Mhm.
slave ships and we made sounds that we thought emulated, Africa.
Mhm.
Yeah, it was powerful. It really was.
Yes, that is.
Mhm.
Mm.
So let's hear from Mpingo. Mpingo, could you tell us your journey to PASLA?
I will. I do want to first, before I start on me, I want to add for those who are viewing this, when we mention the name Jita Hadi, is you may know him, Nathaniel Taylor, as playing the character Rollo on Sanford and Son.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right. So I just want to bring that to people's awareness.
Yes.
Mhm.
So my experience was similar to Johnny's in terms of from the inside out, played a role in terms of me getting there.
Mhm.
I was doing part-time jobs here and there. In one, I was a model for this place called Creators Playhouse, and it was on Adams near Crenshaw Boulevard. And so from the inside out came to do a show on Creators Playhouse, and I was one of the models in that. And so the host, Jackie Goldberg, introduced himself to me. Of course, well, if you knew Jackie, but and, he said that they were looking for a secretary or an assistant down at PASLA. So I went down there, and I don't know if I went to, I guess I went to work there. Tata Nisha was another actress and close to Vantal. She was also on 222. She played
Mhm.
on there, was working there at the time. And and they invited me to come to the workshops. They used to have workshops Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. And like Johnny in Imshaw, when I went into that workshop and I heard that man talking to grown folks the way he was talking, I was just 18 years old.
Mhm.
I had never heard anybody talk to grown folks the way he was talking to them. I was so scared of him. It took me a little while
Yeah.
to join the workshop because I was afraid because this man was crazy. He was okay. I mean, he was a little. He could be a little gruff working in the office with him sometimes, but underneath all that, he was a teddy bear.
Right.
Really, a teddy bear. But so that's how I came to PASLA, and Imshaw and I became hooked up as good friends.
Yeah, we were very close.
Yeah, very quickly. And it was just a wonderful experience. I mean, they've told a lot of it. I don't know if you want to, but I don't know what else I can tell you that they haven't already said at this
You
time.
can tell us about can you pick up with Roberta Flack?
Oh, yes. There's something, she really loved Imshaw and I. And Imshaw and I, we were really dumb. Right, Imshaw?
Yes.
Should I tell that? Should I tell it?
You can, I don't care.
She offered us $10,000 that we could do whatever we want to invest. We never got it together. We never got it together to think about how we should invest this money. So that just went by the wayside.
Yeah.
I can't believe
$100 today.
Yeah. I can't believe how we were just very uninformed.
Yeah, we were very young. Mhm.
I could say something about Roberta when she gave it.
Mhm.
Mhm. And but yeah, Roberta was, I think she did come, I don't know which production. I think she did come down to the theater to see us.
She did.
Pillars.
Mhm.
She
She
saw
came from
Pillars?
Pillars.
Yeah, Pillars.
Right.
Oh, okay.
She did.
And then later on, I had the opportunity to work for Roberta, and I traveled with her for a few months.
Right.
Toured, and I was really blessed. I happened to be with her when Jackie Robinson passed away, and got to go to that funeral where she sang. And
Wow.
I remember, I don't know where we were, down south someplace. And that's the first time I saw Luther Vandross. He was a background.
That's how I met Luther. That's when I met Luther too. He used to sing, he used to be a background singer for Roberta.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Did
Yeah.
not know that about Luther. I knew he
Yeah.
had done background singing, but I didn't know Roberta was one of them.
I think she encouraged him to go and make his own way.
Right on. Right on.
I would like to add, working as Van Tel's assistant, it was very fascinating because this man was so creative. Not only was he a wonderful director, but he was a wonderful artist. He could put those the programs and do artwork, the carpeting, the building. He could just do everything, it seemed to us.
And he passed those skills on.
He did.
Well, he tried, yeah.
He tried, at least he tried, yes. Yes.
He had a lot of confidence in Jeter Hardy.
Yeah.
He mentored. He really mentored Jeter. He really, really did. He really did.
And Jeter Hardy, and actually, you know, Tasha and I met him as Baba Jeter Hardy, right? To respect my elder. That's what he said, though, right?
Yeah.
You know, in talking about Van Tile, just you know how much he even used the word guru, right? To try to emphasize how much Van Tile meant to him.
Yeah.
The role he played in his development and direction and all that, right? So yes, yeah, go ahead and Pingo.
In terms of the purpose of PASLA, you can see that that's where From the Inside Out came.
Yeah.
Yes.
Good point. Good point, Pingo. Excellent.
Yes. Yes. The Tasha, can we go back to the slideshow and to the next slide? Because I'd like to share some of the images that I found in Motojico's papers. And ask you, you know, about them and what you might remember, or whatever light you can shed, including an image of Van Tile, right? That we've been talking about, so that we can see them. Let me see. That's all the what do you call it? The sausage being made right there.
Yeah, I think, my dear, that you stopped my share.
I didn't stop your share. It just stopped.
It just stopped automatically. Okay, well, that presents another technical thing.
Okay, well, I mean, I could open it up and share too, though.
Well, we got it. We got it.
Okay. All right, cool.
And here we go.
Well, hold on before you go any further.
Look at Moto.
The young Moto.
Yeah, well, there he is, right? I was just going to say that, you know, the images, and, you know, in my research, in my reading, it was clear that Van Tile conceived PASLA very much as a response to the 65 uprising.
Yes.
Right? And so, you know, that's the images, right? That Tasha has put behind, you know, some of the bios and etc. But yeah, they're an image of Van Tile from one of the documents that you shared with me and Pingo.
Yusef, I'd like to ask you a question.
Yes.
In your reading and your research, did you come across the name Betty Braxton?
Yes.
Yes. Now,
Okay.
I've come across Mr. Braxton.
Okay, and that's what I was gonna say, because
Yes.
at the time, I hadn't been exposed to heard of any Black people in animation.
Mhm.
He started the animation department at PASLA, and he was married to a woman by the name of Betty Braxton, who is still living in Los Angeles, and Betty is about 91 years of age. Very, very lucid. I mean, she's
Go interview her ASAP.
no,
There's
really,
still
yeah.
time to interview her. Yes.
Mhm.
Okay.
Mhm.
But yeah, I'm aware of the name, and partly because Mpingo had pointed, made me aware of her. But again, I've seen it in the paperwork, right?
Okay,
A
great.
description of the
Okay,
animation.
okay.
In fact, of all the various workshops, right?
Mhm.
The social action drama workshop, the
Mhm.
movement workshop.
Mhm.
Yeah, that there was some of you organized, or maybe all of you did these things. The PASLA singers.
Oh, yeah.
All
Mhm.
right.
Yes,
Mhm.
right. And in fact, I found a program for an event at the Wilshire Bell,
Oh, yes, uh-huh.
where the players performed and the
Uh-huh.
PASLA singers
Mhm.
performed, and yeah, it was
Oh, I do remember that. Mhm.
a big deal.
Mhm.
The So can we go? Yeah, I just wanted, we've been talking about Van Tile, and so folks out there can see. And I agree. I mean, the more I've been reading, just an incredible human being, just the
Mhm.
kinds of accomplishments going back to his time at Howard, and
Absolutely, yeah.
the
Mhm.
folks he was interacting with,
Yes.
the relationship with Dr. Cannon.
Oh, yeah, Al Cannon.
That's right.
Yes,
Yeah, Dr. Cannon was one of the founders of Kedron Mental Health.
exactly.
But it wasn't always Kedron. It was another name when they were over on South Broadway. Look, I'm old enough to know all of this, and Dr. Cannon
Yes.
moved to Africa. I can give you the history on that. I'm telling you.
Yes,
I
yes,
think
Dr.
Dr. Cannon passed, though.
He
He
did.
did.
Yeah.
He has
Yeah.
passed. And
Yeah.
and I also learned that along with Ivan Dixon on the original board of directors, Ozzie Davis was, there was a
Oh,
board of
yes.
advisors, right, with
Mhm.
Ozzie Davis.
right.
Mako, right, the co-founder of East West Players, the Asian actor Mako was
Mhm.
involved
Right,
with
that's right.
PASLA, right? And yes, just the writer, Louise Merriweather, right? Daddy was another
Yes,
runner.
oh yes, he was very close with Louise. And there was another woman by the that was on his board, I believe, and she was a children's book writer, Mildred Walter. I don't know if you ran into that name. Mhm.
Not off the top of my head, but I'm still
Okay,
reading through the
okay,
documents.
okay. Yeah, I went to college with her son. That's why I know.
And what's the name again?
Mildred Walter without the
Walter.
S. Uh-huh, without the
Okay,
S.
Mildred Walter.
Uh-huh.
Okay. The no, Tasha, let's stick with the slideshow. I want to
Right.
go to the next slide.
Bea Richards.
Oh, yeah, he knew Bea very well too, Bea
And
Richards.
he would know her
Oh.
from the American
It's just
Theater of
going
Being.
back. Look at him, Pingo. Look at
Yeah,
you.
so that's what I wanted to ask. Do you remember taking this photo?
Yes, I
Are you
remember
in
that.
this photo at all? Imsha, are you in this photo?
I'm trying to, no, I don't appear to be,
Okay.
but we know everybody else,
The
mostly.
one laying down on the left is Margot.
Right,
Okay.
Really a
Okay.
wonderful actress, but just taken from a student.
yeah, she was very, very organic in her approach, man alive. She died a violent death,
Yeah.
but she brought so much to the ensemble. It was a tremendous loss. It really was.
And Mpingo, is that you like center right there? Right on.
Oh,
And this is at Centinela Park, is that correct?
yes. Uh-huh.
Yes.
Park.
Just love this photo, right? And just wanted to let the world see it.
People.
Let YouTube see it.
Fabulous.
No, but.
And yeah, it's
And
fabulous,
next to
right?
me, her name is Tawili, we called her, Gloria Delaney.
Yeah,
Okay.
She's done some acting.
yeah, on film. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Mhm.
That is a name that's been in the paperwork that
Oh,
I've
okay,
seen.
okay.
And everyone there was a member of PASLA.
Oh yeah, these are all PASLA
These
players.
are all PASLA players. Look at
Mhm.
that. Tremendous.
Joe Miller
Mm-hmm.
and in the back
In the
for
back,
Can't see.
left is Kawili and
Oh, yeah, I see. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Pat Hinnett, I think.
Yeah. Oh, you have a good memory, Mpinga.
And I was guessing on the year 68 or 69. And
Yeah.
That's about right. Mm-hmm.
wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go to the next one, Tasha. Right. So this was from the inside, from the inside out, but the other one, right? So there's Gita Hadi
And
In
Mpingo, I think.
and Pingo. That's right. And
That's great.
this was something from KNXT, right? This document about the anatomy of change or anatomy of
I
change.
remember that.
Oh, Anatomy of Change. I forgot about that. That's right.
So that's what I wanted to ask, right? What you remember about anatomy of change.
I could be wrong, but wasn't Anatomy of Change? I remember when Tom Bradley was mayor of the city?
Mhm.
And we did some kind of panel or something for him.
Okay, so according to the paperwork, he wasn't mayor yet.
Oh,
He was a council
it was-
person. He was
I
a
think it
council
was after
person.
it was the year of his first run that he didn't win. Yeah.
okay.
But yes, but he sat on the panel. That's right. He was a panelist. Eartha Kitt was a panelist.
Oh my.
Oh.
There are a few other people. Well, actually, Modujiko was a panelist.
Okay.
And the idea was that all of the scenes were improvised. So this is what what my research says, and actually what this document said that there were various issues that the players were going to address, a couple of scenarios, but everything would be improvised. It might have even been recorded live. I know it had preempted regular Sunday programming, and they expected it to, boost the ratings for that afternoon. But this particular special presentation on KNXT channel 2,
Oh wow.
Anatomy of Change.
Mm-hmm.
And you were in it, Mpingo.
Yeah, I was in it.
Yes, yeah, there's your name, right?
Yeah, your brother was in it, Billy.
Mm-hmm.
Oscar was in it. Oscar DeGree. Amana was in it.
Oh. Mm-hmm.
Victor, I don't know that. Oh yes, I remember Victor. Shelley.
Yeah, Victor Shelley. That's
Victor Shelley. I remember him.
You do?
Wells. I kind of remember him.
And there's Oscar DeGrue.
Right. So Oscar's daughter is a clinical psychologist.
No, not it's his sister, his baby sister.
Joy is his baby
Joy.
sister?
Yes, Joyce.
Oh, why am I saying his daughter?
I don't know.
Okay, thank you for that correction. Yeah, but she's clinical psychologist that's post-traumatic slave syndrome.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so that's just
Yes,
And
I
you was
learned that
member
from Mpingo. I'm still going to reach out to her to see if I can get an interview.
Yes, that would be
oh,
great.
that would be
children's
good.
workshop.
That would be
Yeah.
good. That would be good.
Joy.
I mean, I'm on chapter 4, right? I'm about finished with the writing, but at the same time, I know I'm going to do this whole, revision of everything and go in and fill in some holes and stuff that I found in the paperwork. So
Okay,
there's still
so-
time to get these interviews.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Mhm.
So I have a question. What is your motivation for doing your dissertation on this particular theater group?
My most fundamental motivation is people need to know about this. People
Okay.
need to know that PASLA existed and the work. And the more I've learned, the more I'm convinced, excuse me, that people need to know this. And actually the my committee who are reading it are like, this is incredible, right? This is
Wow.
incredible
Mhm.
community work that people were doing, and
Yeah.
people need to know this.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh,
Right.
we lost Tasha, but she'll be back. She must be having Wi-Fi issues, and
Okay.
I'm the host, so we didn't lose the interview.
So,
So she'll be back. But yeah, that's
through
my
community,
motivation.
also through community theater is how we met Marla. At that time, she was
Mhm.
involved at Mafundi Institute in
Mhm.
Watts. Mhm.
Mhm.
Ted Lange was affiliated with Mafundi Institute.
Mhm.
Roger Mosley
Mhm.
was Mafundi Institute.
Mhm.
Yeah, so it was Inner City Cultural Center, Performing Arts Society of Los Angeles, and Mafundi
And
Institute.
Mafundi.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah.
And next door theater.
And
And
next to it,
Ebony
very good, yeah. Ebony Showcase.
Ebony Showcase.
Oh, and you were
Yes.
talking about when you were talking about the different actors who would come through. Dick Anthony Williams was very close.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
He would come through too.
That's right. What he did, Liar Liar, at PASLA, I believe. Right.
Mhm.
And Liar Liar was a program for children.
I don't remember.
I
You
don't
know,
remember that either.
so much was happening at PASLA. It's hard to keep up, even at the time.
Okay. Yeah, because I've got the flyer, right, for Liar
Right.
Liar.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I think even at the time, to appreciate the significance of what we were doing,
Mhm.
I don't think we fully appreciate.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because
So there again, right? I mean, and in answering Imsha, I mean, in terms of my motivation, I mean, yeah, just that, right? I mean, it's something
Mhm.
really special happened,
Mhm.
and folks need to know that it happened, right? It's not part of the discourse out there. I mean, people will automatically think of like the Watch Writers Workshop, and that's great.
yes,
Right?
yes.
And even Mafundi Institute, although I don't think that is well enough known or studio wise.
Mm-hmm. Good point.
But PASLA, in other reading I'm doing on like the Black arts movement in California and the histories of Los Angeles at the time, and there's quite a bit of text on the Inner City Cultural Center, Mafundi, Watch Writers Workshop, and in several, PASLA might get a sentence or two. Bantile might get a sentence, and even though there's more on like Dr. Cannon and C. Bernard Jackson.
Oh, yeah.
Just maybe a sentence, something like. And I think I finally found one book that had maybe a paragraph, something. So there's a gap that needs to be filled in.
While this particular woman did not directly come through PASLA, certainly she experienced the PASLA influence, and that's his ex-wife, Lynn Whitfield, who is a brilliant actress, in my opinion. Lynn is very good. He taught her very well, and she was an excellent student. I remember Lynn when she was still going to Howard University, because I went to visit them. I stayed with them a few days, and I went to Howard with her. Lovely woman.
Wonderful. And we're still trying to track down, the From the Inside Out, if there are any tapes out there besides the Peabody compilation.
They told me when I inquired, and I hope I'm wrong, that they just taped over them.
Yeah, they probably did, right? Not valuing, right, what they had. And I'm also wondering if Anatomy of Change might be in someone's library, UCLA maybe. I just haven't had the time to look to see if they have Anatomy of Change.
Yusef, have you tried to contact Rosalie Hooks?
No, I have not. The closest I tried to contact Robert Hooks.
Okay.
And I did speak with Ed DeShay, who recommended.
Yes.
And talked about when they came out, and what was it? I can't remember the title. Life Among the Brownstones or something like that, right?
She stand like a fine.
Yeah, yes. That's
it's on the tip of my tongue. My God.
what it was looking at the poetry of Gwendolyn Brooks.
Thank you, Gwendolyn Brooks.
Yes.
Among all this, you stand like a fine brown stone.
There it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, that.
I'm glad
piece.
I would like to say about the poetry, that was one thing that Van Til really taught us about how to really speak poetry in the most dramatic way. Get that about
Yes.
Mm.
Proper recitation, right? Poetry.
Yes.
It's not just a written form, right? It's an
That's right.
oral form. Right? It's
There
gotta
was
work.
a poem called what was it called? Black Mothers Crying?
Praying. No, Black Mother's Praying.
Praying.
Mm.
It was Levon, Amana, Norma, just those two, or was it there might have been a third person?
I think it was a third person. It explained.
Those two were so powerful doing the poem.
Huh?
Levon Walters, is that what you said?
No, Walden.
Oh, right. Yes. Who I've been reading about.
Oh, okay. Okay.
For playing in, what was the play? Sister Selena Got the Gift.
Oh,
Right,
bringing back memories.
So let's go to the next slide, Tasha. I think we can bring back some more memories.
Oh, wow.
Okay, so there's a couple. Yeah, we want to get to Habu, right? So with Don't Leave Go My Hand right there.
Oh, yeah.
And what is that? The El Haj Malik play.
Oh, Don't Leave Go My Hand. Look at him walk on. Look at the Habu. Look at the Oh my God. Habu with all that red hair.
Yeah. Who's that at the top?
So were you, well, in Pingo's, see you there in El Haj Malik. Were you all in Don't Leave Go My Hand?
Are we on Don't Leave Go My Hand?
I don't know if I was in it or not.
Yeah, because part of it was
wasn't Jay Rich in that?
Oh, Jay was in it. You're right. Jay was in it. Yeah, he was. Who is that lady though standing over the Habu?
I was trying to think. I don't know.
Her face vaguely looks familiar.
Yeah, it's not Camille. I don't think.
She looks a little.
Yeah, she looks like she could be Camille.
Who's that facing her? Do you know who that is?
Mwako.
That's Mwako.
Mwako, his first film piece was One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Oh, okay.
He did very well.
Yes.
And then G2 Kumbuka, who's passed now, G2 did quite a bit in film. Hey,
Yes.
remember Hey Shimu in Bingo?
Yes.
He
was on 227. He was a regular.
Right.
Not 227. Room 222.
Room 222. Yes. Yes. One of my favorite shows as a little boy.
Right.
My brother, Billy, he was on it occasionally.
I remember Billy being on there sometimes.
And you mentioned Jesse Hicks.
Yeah, that's Kajini.
And I believe, I think I know that. Did he do television and film?
Did he do what?
Television and or film?
No.
I'm thinking of another. Oh, no, I'm thinking of another Hicks, right?
Kajini is still living. He lives down south.
Okay.
Oh, and Carl McIntosh, he was a brilliant artist.
Yes.
Yeah, he was a brilliant artist. And Van also had a very, very good friend. She's a well-known African-American female artist. Samantha Lewis? Was Lewis?
Oh, I know who you're talking about. Samela Lewis.
Samela.
Thank you.
Thank
you.
I met
Elizabeth Catlett. I remember
met her son at Jean's, ceremony out.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Oh, wow, interesting.
Yes. And he talked about, yeah, they were either Gene's neighbors at one time, or yeah, they were Gene's neighbors at one time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But let's go to the next slide, Tasha. Yeah, there is the 4 plays, right? The 4 one-act plays.
Oh, okay, 4 one-act plays.
Four
Yeah.
one-act
Yes. What
Okay.
is that? Sister Selena's Got the Gift is one of them, I think.
Oh,
The Message, right?
oh gosh.
Uh-huh.
I can't see what that other one is. I can't. Anyway,
The Lonely
yeah,
Crowd.
we
Before,
just wanted to share some of the programs that
Oh,
we saw.
yeah, I
And
think
the
that's
Lonely
great.
Crowd, which I understand was a musical.
First, it was a what?
Was the Lonely Crowd a musical?
Uh,
Oh
I
wait, yeah,
don't.
it says it. I'm sorry, it says it on the flyer in a new musical review. The past
The Lonely
It does. It does. In a
Oh.
new musical review.
The Lonely
I
Crowd.
remember The Lonely Crowd.
Were any of you in that?
No, I don't
members of-
remember.
I wasn't in it because I was just coming to PASLA.
Okay.
yeah, I just got there in 70.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But I saw that, in going through the paperwork, so that PASLA did things like a musical like this.
Mm-hmm.
The one act
Phil, that was
play.
probably what was his name? Our music person was Phil. He was a famous jazz musician.
Phil Moore.
Phil Moore.
Uh-huh. Phil Moore.
And so Phil Moore would have scored this probably.
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 Uh-huh.
What about the one act plays? Were you in any of these? I can't. The Message. And We Own the Night by Jimmy Garrett.
Mm.
I can't. What is that?
Oh, I see. We
Those.
Own the
Oh,
Night.
one by Ben Caldwell. What is
My eyes are not that good.
yeah, and it's too small. The print is
Oh,
too
Evan
small.
Walker. That's Easter Jordan. No, Evan did another one. That's not Easter Jordan, because Easter Jordan was a 3-act play.
Claire's Old Man.
What?
There it is.
Claire's Old
Yes.
Man.
Claire's
Old Man,
Old
Old
Man.
Man.
Ed
Look
Bullins.
at that.
Claire's
Yeah.
Old Man.
Man.
Yes.
Okay.
So yeah, I have no idea. This was an undated flyer, so just no idea when it was actually performed or staged. So I don't know if you remember playing in any of you performing in any of those.
My time. And We Own the Night.
I may have been in one of them.
And that's the same Jimmy Garrett who was also part of the student strikes at San Francisco State.
Oh, okay. But Claire's Old Man was by Ed Bullins.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think an interesting little play, right? Claire's Old Man.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Were any of you in that, Claire's Old Man?
I can't remember.
I think I was in one of the 4-act plays, but I couldn't tell you which one that was.
Okay. Let's go to the next slide, Tasha. Are we coming to the end of our slides?
I hope not. I'm enjoying this.
Me too,
Right?
Yes.
Yes, this is incredible.
There were so many more to
Really?
try to share.
Is that the end,
Is that
Tasha?
the end, Tasha?
That's the last image.
Oh, is it? Is it really? Well,
Uh,
before we get to those other images, okay. So then, so because we are getting close to closing, right?
Oh,
And we do want to be
It's after 3
disciplined
o'clock
because,
already?
I
Yes,
know in bingo,
3:13.
we
Well,
got to get out of here.
15 more minutes.
You said
So
And
I
please
wanted to
don't
ask
close.
about the. Yeah, go ahead, Tasha.
I was just going to say, please don't close without letting me say my piece and
Oh
give
no, absolutely not.
Wow.
We'll absolutely give you a chance to say your piece.
That's at Gita Hadi's 80th.
That was at Gita Hadi's birthday. Yes,
Yeah,
I
his
wanted to.
80th. Me, you.
One of the questions we asked, because y'all are
You.
answering all the questions, that we might have prepared. Just this model of what community theater can be and should be, and
Yeah.
really what theater can be, because
Mhm.
even the whole notion of art for art's sake, that's political too, right? And that notion is doing political work.
Mhm.
The But one of the things we wanted to focus on in talking to folks in the arts is work with children and programming,
Mm.
things like that. So, you know, and so that was important to PASLA, right? The work and
Mhm.
inviting the community children in. And could you all
Mhm.
talk about that? And did you work directly with
Yeah, I
children?
did. I did several children workshops.
Mm.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Yusef,
Mm-hmm.
Joy DeGruy Leary came out of the children's workshop.
Mm-hmm.
When she wrote the book,
Post-traumatic slip.
Post-Traumatic Slave Syndrome, I went for the book signing, and the first thing she said when she got a note from me was come up to the front of the line, and she saw me, and she says, "You and M. Shah and Pingo and Gita Hadi, all of you pushed me to this area where I am, put me to this area where I am.
Wow.
I'm thankful for the children's workshop."
Right.
That's right.
Wow.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
Mhm.
That's a great
Also,
testimonial right there.
there's something about Larry Clark. I never heard anything.
Yeah, I wanted to say Larry
Filmmaker.
Larry
Yes.
Clark, the filmmaker at UCLA, and
Clark. Yeah.
Heidi Garima.
Yes.
Do you know those names?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Yes. And in fact, one of the images we were going to share, but we decided not to, was a script of As Above, So Below,
Oh, yeah.
Ooh.
with handwritten notes on it, including the names, your name, everybody on here, right?
Oh, that would
Everyone's
have been
name.
fabulous. So,
Oh,
so,
And Haile Garima's name is on it. So, yeah. So
Mhm.
so I don't know if you're aware of this, but pre-pandemic, before the
Mhm.
pandemic, every year they showed As Above, So Below as a part of the Harlem Renaissance.
no, I did not
Yes,
know that.
yes, that was pre-pandemic.
Where would they are they
You know,
would they do?
they would do a Harlem Renaissance in Harlem, New York.
So in New York they would show it that's great.
Yes, yes, as a part of the festival.
That is now I haven't looked yet just because of all the various things I'm doing, but I'm under the assumption that UCLA will have a copy of that maybe, and see if
Oh,
they have it in their
I
archive.
think that's a fair assumption that it should be
Yeah.
a part of their archive.
Because I would like to see it,
Yeah.
and I've never
Mhm,
I've seen Passing Through, right? Gita Hadi shared his copy of Passing Through with me, and
mhm.
but not, haven't seen. In fact, we screened Passing Through as part of Liberation Cinema.
Okay.
Gita Hadi was going to come talk, but he wasn't feeling well that day, so we just screened it
At the Harlem.
without the benefit of his presence.
It may have been Passing Through.
Yusef, this is a footnote.
It may.
Mhm.
It may have been Passing Through and not As Above, So Below at Harlem Renaissance.
Oh, okay, that they show at Harlem Renaissance.
Yeah.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Well, either one of them is
Right, exactly. Yeah.
shown.
Yes. And as you do your research, and I don't know if you remember the name of it, Imsha, but do you remember that there was a movie that Van Tal and Gita Hadi did together? I mean, it was a movie.
Yes, it was.
No, I don't remember that.
I don't think it ever was released. I don't know, but I would love.
Gita Hadi told me about it. He couldn't remember the name, but I
Oh,
found it, and I found the information about it.
You did?
oh,
I can't,
wow.
off the top of my head, I can't remember it without looking it up.
Right.
But Kapelowitz was involved with it, and as per Gita Hadi's reports, and it's in Van Til's papers,
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
including announcements that it was going to be released. I think announced in Variety,
Oh.
but it never ended up happening. Yeah, apparently it never ended up happening. Right?
Wow.
Oh,
Never
okay.
went to screen anywhere. Maybe not even the festival circuit. Apparently, but anyway, yeah, I can't remember the name of it though. Without going into the files,
Mhm.
I did find that. Tasha, I know you wanted to get in a question.
Well, I
Yeah,
have a question and I have a sharing. Yeah, I have
yeah,
a
go ahead.
question first and I have a sharing. The logo for PASLA, does anybody know what that is? Is it an Adinkra symbol?
I really couldn't
No,
intelligently, yeah, it's just Motor that's all I could tell you.
Okay,
Mhm,
okay. Yeah,
mhm.
yeah. All right, I'm gonna see if I can find
Okay.
it as such.
Mhm,
And
It very well may be.
right, and for this, for those who are watching, when we say Motajiko, Vantown Whitfield, Motajiko means fire eyes that see all.
right.
My mind, my
Mhm.
mind. My
Mhm.
Hey y'all, my sharing, the abundance of my gratitude for the
Hmm.
path you walked. And I have to tell a little bit of story
Yes.
about also the important the importance, Yusef, and my gratitude for you. And all of this is this is spiritual because you're doing it
Mhm.
because you're who you are, and your mind, the way that it is, and full constellation of doing this work,
Mhm.
importance of the importance of us to
Tasha,
our story.
Oh yeah, she's breaking
Tasha,
up.
hold on, honey. Your your audio is going in and out. What
Am I here right
I
now?
recommend you stop sharing for a minute.
Okay. That, all right. Will
That
that
might
help it?
help it. You're still sharing though.
I stopped share.
It's
I
really,
don't
it's
know
still
why
on the
it's still
screen.
sharing.
I can stop your share. Okay, now try.
Okay. Right. All right. Yeah, the importance of this work and this documentation are we know our stories and
oh boy.
the important
You're
or
still
how we develop.
distorting. I'm not sure why.
Neither am I. I just want to
Because I want you to get this
maybe
out. Yes.
I know, I want to hear it too.
When she was on screen with us before, we could hear her very
It was
clearly.
a problem.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes. Try putting your
so
camera back on.
and then hopefully I can be heard now. Even in Pingo, your instruction in transcendental meditation, right? So
Mhm.
I grew up. I was born at the time that you all were vitalizing this work and doing this thing, right? And I grew up in a household, Black folks were getting into TM, and my
Mm.
mother was centered in TM at the time that I was a child. And so
Mm.
that was my first spiritual notion,
Turn
right?
your screen on, please. Thank you.
I'm sorry.
Your
Turn your
video.
screen on. There
Good.
you are.
I don't know what else to do. Yeah.
Okay.
Am I on now?
Yes.
Yes.
And so as a little child, right? We had the encyclopedia set for Black American history or whatnot, and my volume was Black theater. That was my volume.
Wow.
From a child. This is what I wanted to do. This is who I wanted to be. What I wanted to do. By the time I went to school in Beverly Hills, because my mom thought that was the thing, and she owned a beauty salon there and did her thing, and right? And so I was quite isolated. But even if I weren't growing up in that circumstance, I may have never known, right?
Mhm.
So by the time I get to high school, I audition for the school play. I fall in love with the theater. By the time I'm graduating high school, I'm saying to myself, I can't really get into this because I don't know that I want to throw my spirit into all of these places, right?
Mhm.
As an actress, as a vehicle. Yeah. And by the time I am 22 and living in Culver City, where I still am now, and in this building, and I've matured in many ways, and certain pieces have come together, I begin to contemplate, right, how all of this kind of thing can come together. I had actually gone to see Kodo drummers, right, those Japanese drummers, and learn that they live as a community and they produce their art and their life is organized around doing this. And I was like, wow, if Black people could do that with theater, So I had this notion, right? The Afrocentric Theater Collective, and I held on to that for years. It was in my heart. I had no idea that I was living right next to what
That's right.
who I had no idea. I said good morning to Jihadi. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Years. We had conversation. He and my mom, they had camaraderie, all of these kinds of, all of these kinds of energies. And so where in the mission statement, it talks about the role of this and bringing together the fragmented pieces, even now, and I am a 55-year-old woman, hearing this story, hearing you talk, hearing about the vision of this, right? I am so profoundly moved and still integrated by the story, by knowing this. And I'm so glad I got through this, because I didn't know if I would be too emotional to even articulate it. That's how profound this is for me, and how much I believe in the power of theater as healing and all of these arts as a healing and transformative work for us that also we can afford. It doesn't cost anything to do this. I'm not talking about big productions. People are doing pop-up theater these days.
Exactly.
Kinds of things. All we need is the attention of the people. That's what we need. Everything else is an illusion. And anyway, I am profoundly moved, profoundly inspired, and I had to share. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Excellent.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. I think your passion really permeates. You're quite intentional about your experience, and that's really what Vantal was for us. He was extremely intentional, unapologetic, and very, very authentic. And so that's part of or that's most of the passion that I hear you sharing, Tasha, which was absolutely wonderful and greatly appreciated. I'm learning how to harvest grace.
Yes.
It's incredible. You brought this session has literally integrated something for me right in this day, in this very moment, at this time of my life.
Yeah, you feel deep. That's wonderful. Wow, bless you, bless you, bless you.
Could I ask something? Do you remember the scene of the lady sitting on the bus stop? The improvisation that we did?
No.
Don't you remember we would be sitting on the bus stop and we would just watch people?
Vaguely.
Do a little bit with me.
Lord have mercy.
Right. I remember that.
Well,
you know that child shouldn't have come out like that.
I know. Where is her mama?
Lord have mercy on my soul.
Anyway, we did a whole scene.
That was wonderful.
Very good and finger.
We're at 3:27.
Yes.
And we don't want to keep you overtime.
Right.
So any final words from each of you?
Yes, very quickly. I greatly appreciate, I really want to ditto what Tasha shared. And by the way, I really want to applaud you.
Yes.
Research your time, because I'm going to tell you, Johnny and I, we're showing up senior citizens now. We've got a lot going on.
Don't claim it.
We've got a lot going on. I said, God, can we do this? Oh God, he wants this, he wants that. But anyway, I said, I want to do this because I want to be able to support this brother, because nobody else is really going to the extent that you're going to.
Mhm.
So your dissertation, you're gonna end up with a doctorate degree, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you see what I'm saying? So you'll be, it's very powerful, and I want to applaud you, Yusef.
Thank
Right.
you.
And we're so pleased that we could support you
Thank
in
you.
your
I
in your
appreciate it.
efforts. Absolutely,
I'll send
absolutely.
you copies when it's done.
I really
So you'll
appreciate it.
have your
And,
copies.
and by the way, she's gold, brother. You better
I
hang.
can tell. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
You
Yes.
better hang with that one, because Tasha's
I'm
gold.
trying. If I can keep my act together.
Yeah.
So greatly appreciate you. I'd like to have a statue built for you because what you're doing is so
It's
important
powerful.
for generations to
Thank
come
Yeah.
to know
Yeah.
about
Yes,
past.
it is.
Mhm.
Exact. That's the idea.
I gotta say, it's so much bigger. Yeah, he will have a doctorate, but he's so much bigger than this doctorate.
Oh,
This
absolutely. It's
doctorate.
just the doctorate is merely the process.
Yeah.
But he's gonna actualize it will really matter. Mhm.
Something he needs
Yes.
along the way for this much bigger mission. We are so much
Right.
bigger
Yeah.
than anything
Yeah.
they have to offer us.
Yes.
You gotta know it.
Exactly. It's a
Mhm.
and that's Joko's mission also.
Mhm. Mhm.
Any last words, Johnny?
I appreciate you doing this and really sticking with it, because I was wondering if you were going to come back and we were going to do this, because
Yes.
really there should be something said about PASLA because
Mhm.
the Motojico put a very powerful piece together when he came up with this.
Yep.
And he used to share little things with me, they all keep with me forever, and I pass them on because he was a
genius.
he was an awesome man. He was a bad dude.
Mm.
Yeah.
He's a bad dude, man. I saw what he did. I saw what he did in D.C. when he took Ron Daniels' play and did it at the D.C. Black Repertory Company. Sent Ron a residual check. So Ron came to me and said, "What should I do?" I said, "Go see your damn play, man."
Yeah.
He said, "I can't go unless you go because you helped me work on it." And Jeter Hadi and Ron, the three of us all went to see the play. And when I saw it, it was a Broadway production.
Mm.
Broadway production when I first met Lynn at that production. But I want to thank you for really pulling out some information because it's information I didn't even know about.
Yeah.
And I came to PASLA in 1970.
Mhm.
So I was late, but I was on time.
Mhm. Right. That's right.
Yeah, you're crystallizing all of this,
More than a doctorate.
Yeah.
Yes.
It'll be
That's
powerful.
right.
I've seen.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank
Well,
you.
it turns
Thank
out
you.
my uncle, who's a psychologist, 90 years old, still
Wow.
teaching a class. Just
Wow.
it turns out, because I asked him, he was doing this stuff in LA around the time. Did he know Dr. Cannon? And so, oh, Al? Yeah, he used to be my boss, right?
Yeah.
So, but he reads dissertations in his field, right? So he said, "Well, let me read your dissertation, and I'll give you some feedback." And he's like, "Look, I ain't got no feedback for you. Just you're doing it. Just finish it. This needs to be a textbook. So I'm just looking,
Oh,
Wonderful.
to print it and then teach the class. I don't know about teaching. I just want it out. I just want the word out. People need to know about PASLA. So there's still ideas for like a documentary.
Okay.
yes.
Because the word needs to get out about PASLA, Motojico, Jeter Hadi, right? People don't know that he is so much more than Rollo, etc. Right? And all the people that came through PASLA and worked, and the folks PASLA worked with at the Inner City Cultural Center and Mafundi Institute, and just this entire area, really, right? But PASLA in particular, that just seems to be so obscure. So we are just so grateful to you for sharing. Everything is in time and on time, so it's happening.
Yes, it is.
We will go. Do we have another slide to share in our closing? Because I'm about to tell the YouTube people goodbye. We don't want to leave them, we don't want to leave them out. Right?
Am I?
You're doing it. We're looking at the sausage being made again, but Yeah.
Oh Lord, one day we'll have
It's
it
all
all
right.
together.
Well, while you're doing that, I do just want to, if you're watching on YouTube, do remember to subscribe, remember to like, and please share and get the word out about the Performing Arts Society of Los Angeles. I mean, what a moment in history, and that history continues to live.
Yes, yeah.
People don't even realize the legacy of the
Yes.
Performing Arts Society of Los, and that's just the point. People don't even realize, right,
Mhm.
what's there.
Just for those watching, I just want to identify the people.
Yes.
This is at Gita Hadi, Nathaniel Taylor's 80th birthday. And sitting on the front row to the left is Jean King, who just made her transition recently. And there's our beloved Gita, the wonderful Marley Gibbs.
Mhm.
And then behind her to the right is Dahabu Lucian Smith and his sister Candace, Dr. Candace Smith, who teaches the professor at USC. Angela Gibbs, actress, director, and Miss Charlene Weathers, Williams at the time, but Weathers, and her beloved Johnny Weathers, and myself and Pingo Griffin.
There we go.
There we go.
Nice.
Very nice.
What's the last slide, Tasha? I don't remember.
I hit it, music will play.
When you hit it, the music will play. So we will again say thank you, so we don't have to compete with the music.
Okay.
Okay.
Y'all were wonderful. This is on YouTube, Joko Collective channel.
Okay.
Please share with folks. If you want a recording of the Zoom recording, can send that to you all too.
Yeah, we will.
And yeah, thank you. Have a
Thank
great
you.
rest of the
Thank you
day.
so much.
And you might be hearing from me again, for some follow-up.
Okay.
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 Just so you know, because I'm getting ready to write about the blackening very soon.
Oh, okay.
Like this week, I'm going to be writing. I found some reviews of the blackening. And so, yeah.
I'm going to love to see all of this. Oh,
and now to have learned that it was strictly improvisational, I'm just like, okay. Especially based on the reviews and how impressed people were. Yeah.
And did you do anything about, did you see the battle mask? I didn't, that was before
No, I mean, I did see, I saw some writing on it, right? But so yeah, a little, some from like the LA Times and the Sentinel, right? Writing about it.
Yeah, I'd like to know more about that myself. It was
okay. I'll see what else I can find out.
Okay.
Write about it or share those articles with you.
All right.
That's going like back, like the first one in 66, maybe, or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All
so
right. Well, thank you. It was good to see you.
Thank you
so much. Tasha.
Thank you.
Tasha,
thank you.
Thank you. Beautiful.
Bless you. It really was.
All right.
Asante Sana.
Yeah.
Sana.
Asante.
And another image from the 66.
I love that.
Or the 65 uprising.
Yeah.
Isn't that a great image?
All right.
Yes.
2026.
Yes.
Yeah.
The little beautiful nappy-headed children. Love that.
Yes, love it.
I used to be one of them. I think I was still a little young to be walking in the streets like that at the time. So yeah, Tasha, I don't think our
training where they're holding hands and looking both ways.
Yeah, right.
Training.
The music isn't playing for our final
It's
slide.
not. It's
been
not.
doing that for a while. That's all right. It's okay.
Right.
YouTube, thank you for watching the stream. We'll see you next time with another group of artists. Who are we doing next? Dancers?
We haven't scheduled our next set of folk.
So either dancers or poets, I think are up, right?
Yeah, I think poets are up next.
Okay, right on. So
thank you.
Thank you.
Look out for the announcements.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bless you.